I'm joined now by David Yaghoubian. He's a history professor at California State University in San Bernardino. Thank you so much for your time. Now, some analysts have described this failed attempt by the U.S. as a diplomatic catastrophe. Is that something you agree with?
If the intent and goal of the Trump administration was actually to have the arms embargo extended, then indeed this is a huge, embarrassing, abject failure for the Trump administration. If, though, as it seems, the goal was to table a resolution that would fail so that the U.S. could go ahead next week and attempt to trigger the snapback of sanctions, then we'll still have to wait to judge whether this can be considered a success for the Trump administration and its supporters. The goal, I believe, in attempting to trigger the snapback of sanctions, since, as your correspondent in the lead-in described, there isn't any agreement regarding the right or legality of the United States to still make any claims regarding the JCPOA after having pulled out in May of 2018. This would seem to imply that the U.S. is hoping for an existential crisis in the Security Council, which would, at the very least, on one level, throw red meat to Donald Trump's base and the neoconservatives who generally eschew international law and as well international institutions and multilateral institutions. It could potentially lead to some members of the international community supporting the move to the snapback of sanctions. But by my count, this would basically be the Dominican Republic and Israel.
David, does the U.S. actually have any clout here when it comes to Iran, considering they pulled out of the nuclear deal in 2018 and the arms embargo then falls under that 2015 deal, that arms embargo, of course, ending in October? I mean, what options does the U.S. have here?
The Trump administration will be acting completely outside of international law, United Nations Resolution 2231 and its specific provisions. And so it really has gone rogue. I don't know how else to describe it. The failure to heed international law, and in fact, the threats to members of the United Nations should they continue to follow international law, that is the JCPOA and UN Resolution 2231, is truly unprecedented. So it seems as though the Trump administration is truly trying to drain away any remaining credibility or legitimacy that the United States has on the international stage. And again, to create a crisis in the Security Council where it would be able to proclaim that the United Nations is purely just ineffectual in achieving goals that it would claim were important for American national security, and either to continue to berate the institution or seek to pull out of the institution. This has been a long-time goal of the neoconservatives, dating back to the late 20th century, to the 1990s, and explicitly those of neocons like John Bolton and Mike Pompeo.
Well, Russia is a member of that UN Security Council, and Vladimir Putin is calling for a diplomatic solution for leaders to meet on this issue. Do you think another discussion is going to help solve a problem that's been going on for such a long time?
If the United States entered genuinely and earnestly into such a discussion, it could potentially be beneficial. But I hold out no hope that the United States will even agree to participate in such a meeting, especially considering the level of vitriol as well as flat out sanctions that the United States has placed on Russia, and the extent to which the American mainstream media vilifies Vladimir Putin on a daily basis, whether or not Donald Trump himself was interested in such a meeting. I don't hold out any hope that such a meeting will go forward or will see the United States as a participant, unfortunately.
David Yaghoubian, live to us there from San Bernardino. Thanks so much for your time and your take on that.